Nike is not only getting you to walk on air, but now your foot is literally surrounded in air. Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, a brand new review. Today we're looking at a pair of Nike sneakers that I think are pretty damn different and something I'm really excited to get into. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Nike Air Max Zephyr. Here we go. We have an OG box, just red and white. So take a look at the size tag, have a good little look over there, and let's just jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a bizarre shoe, the Air Max Zephyr. So here they are. I mean, Nike has definitely been getting creative with their Air Max sneakers. You have like the individual pods on the Vapor Max. You have the ginormous stack of air at the back on the 270s. You have the largest air unit ever put on a pair of shoes on the 720s, which is actually what this one has right here. So like I said, this one is a little bit different to past versions of the Air Max that we've seen, and there's a couple things that I think are really make it stand out. Obviously, you can see a couple of them right here. But before we get into everything that makes this shoe quite different, let's get into some of the specifics. The release date on these was November the 12th. I believe this is the only colorway, I guess it's the only one I could get. It's kind of like this black and green colorway. Again, this is called the Zephyr or Zephyr. I'm not too sure how to pronounce the naming scheme of this shoe, but yeah, this is the one I was able to get, the only one that was available on the Nike website. They retail for a pretty hefty £160 here in the UK or 180 out in the US. Let me start off by saying I really like the looks of this shoe. I like how it looks. It looks very interesting to say the least. However, my one big problem with this is it's the 720 midsole. Air Max 720 midsole that this pair of sneakers has, of course we've seen it before on the Air Max 720, and in theory possessing the largest air unit ever placed on a pair of shoes sounds great, but in practice it just doesn't really go down as something that is kind of your ideal in terms of comfort. I do think it feels clunky and big and just a bit strange to walk in. Now, I'm not saying it's not comfortable. It's not uncomfortable, but it's not that comfortable at the same time. It's definitely more of just a weird feel underfoot, but I think it does kind of gain some merit for looking pretty cool. Right, now that's my main issue with this pair of shoes out of the way. Let's get it out of here and let's talk about the upper of this shoe, because that's really where the magic happens. Now, like I said in the beginning, your foot is surrounded by air units. Like you can see on the top of this shoe, you're literally getting air pockets on the medial and the lateral side, as well as the top of the tongue. So I don't think I've ever seen that on a pair of Nikes. In fact, I almost know that I've never seen that on a pair of Nikes. I believe this is the first one. Granted, I don't think these air units actually contribute to comfort as much as they do aesthetic purposes, but it's pretty damn cool. Upper of this shoe is actually constructed using two different layers. As you can see, I can slip my fingers in between this section here. The underneath material actually feels really soft. It feels almost like some kind of memory foam action going on. It feels very cushy, and that's obviously what your foot is going to be up against when you're wearing this. Now, the other layer, or the top layer, is kind of what you see. So it's almost like a mesh material covered by plenty of fused parts and plenty of overlays, of course, including those two huge Air Max units on either side. And like I said, the design and just the way that this looks is actually pretty cool. Definitely quite a big shoe. Like when you're wearing it, you're gonna notice this is a thick shoe. The tongue is detached, as you can see, and if I give you a little up close of that top of the tongue, you can see that little air unit right at the top. It's just a little pocket of air. Now that air unit is completely transparent, and while it does look pretty cool, it being completely transparent, you are definitely going to see right through it down into your foot or your socks, whatever you're rocking with. Now, anybody who's wearing long socks, it's not going to be a big deal at all. You kind of just feel it, but it's nothing that substantial. But when you're wearing invisible socks, you can definitely feel the kind of plastic material rubbing against your ankle and all the hair that's around it, and it kind of pulls. It's just not a great feeling piece. Now, Nike didn't really specify as to why they thought adding air units to the top of the shoe was a good idea, or why they wanted to put it there. I think the shoe in general is pretty comfortable in and of itself, and I think the main reason why it's so comfortable is the really nicely well padded sock liner, and of course pretty much the entire inside of the shoe has a really nice feeling material about it. It feels very substantial, very good quality. It's not a light shoe by any means. So that's pretty much your upper. I do really like it. I think there's nothing wrong with having the air units on the side. But as far as the aesthetic purposes, I think it looks pretty cool, and it's definitely comfortable on top. So yeah, they threw an Air Max 720 midsole on it. Now, if you guys have any kind of experience with this midsole, I'm sure you have your own thoughts and opinions on that. But for me personally, it's definitely very clunky. It's not something I think is that comfortable. It's definitely very, very solid. Like there's no give to this. This is a solid pair of shoes in terms of the midsole. So for sizing, I would definitely say go true to size. I believe even if you have a slightly wider foot, you're probably going to be fine going true to size with this pair. I do really like the looks and the feel of this shoe on foot. Of course, I'm definitely gonna have to knock points off for that 720 midsole. At 160 price point is also a bit of a big ask. I don't know if I would be running out to spend that kind of money on this pair of shoes. However, if these ever hit the sale racks, I'm definitely gonna be picking a pair of these up, especially if they bring some cool colorways. I think they can probably do something cool with the air units as well. But overall, I think these are a solid pair of shoes. It's always interesting to see what Nike can cook up in terms of creating new ideas. And I guess we're just rocking with air on the top of our shoes now. But either way, let me know what you guys think about this. What do you think of this air unit? Is this something that you are a fan of, or do you just hate it? You could go either way. That about wraps it up for the Air Max Zephyr. Thank you guys so much for coming through, hanging out with me for yet another video, liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you all in the next one, but until then.